What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Hugo Strange one more time. So I already made this video, but I figured I kind of rambled in that one, and I wanted to be as clear and as brief as possible in this movie review. So this isn't going to be like my Strange reviews, because obviously those have a very different format. Rather, I'm going to talk about what the Avengers means for comic book movies as a whole. Now here's the thing, the studio that came out with the Avengers took a very huge risk in terms of leading up to this movie. Each character in the Avengers received their own individual movies in order to lead up to this, which I think made the Avengers as successful as it was. It's because it had, I think, 5 years of movies building up to this point, and people kept seeing these movies in order to see how each part of the story would play in order to build up to this movie. That was genius and very risky, because none of the studio executives would project that a movie like Thor would be as popular as it was, or at least succeed like it did, given the fact that Thor isn't exactly a household name in terms of comic book characters. Which brings me to my second point. DC Comics has only two successful properties, Batman and Superman. They attempted to come out with a Green Lantern movie, and we all know how that turned out. The thing is, with the Batman movies, once again, well-deserved the hype. You know, I'm not, sitting here and gonna snot on Batman just because the Avengers. Just a side note here, the Avengers and Batman are actually two very different movies. The Nolan Batmans fit into the area of more or less crime films, things like The Usual Suspects, Heat, and things of that nature. They're more or less crime thrillers. Whereas the Avengers movie is more like an action movie, as you can obviously tell. Most of the Marvel movies are action movies, with guns, explosions, things of that nature. What I'm trying to say is they fit into two different genres, and they really can't be compared fairly. The Nolan Batmans are very slow and methodical, whereas the Avengers is very fast-paced and action-packed. Both great, but very different. Sermon over. What I'm trying to say is that DC Comics only has two successful properties, Batman and Superman, who are well-known, well-established characters. They're very household names. People who don't read comic books know about Batman and Superman. But to someone who's never read comic books in their life, now, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, all of these characters are becoming household names. I know this because even my mother commented on the fact that the Avengers was, doing very well in the box office. And my mother does not know Spider-Man from Deadpool. She wouldn't even know who she knows who Spider-Man was, because, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, but she wouldn't know who Deadpool was or any of these other characters at all. And even she knows, yeah, these are really successful. Given the movies that DC has tried to come out with, Captain Marvel, which it was announced that The Rock was actually cast as Black Adam. That movie never came to fruition, and we're still waiting for a Wonder Woman movie. Still. What I'm trying to say is DC Comics, in terms of their movies, has a long way to catch up to Marvel, which will get me to the conclusion of this video. If you've checked out my blog and, things that I've been saying, we've been seeing a whole hell of a lot of reboots and remakes, etc., etc., etc. Here's the thing, though. What I've been saying since day one is the fact that, why are people rebooting things that we, the fans of that thing, they're rebooting or remaking or adapting? Why are they changing it when we're the ones that made it popular? This goes for anything. This goes for The Last Airbender, or any crappy adaptation, remake, reboot of anything. Why are you doing this when we're the ones that made it popular. It goes like this. They're basically making these movies because these things are popular. If the Avengers were not popular or could not lend themselves to be made into films, they would never touch it. But since the Avengers are popular, the film industry decides, hey look, let's make a movie out of this. And they try to make that movie as accessible to people who aren't comic book fans, while at the same time catering to the people who are comic book fans. Because they understand that it would be the comic book fans that would be the most vocal about it, and therefore would either make or break their success. And this goes for anything, is the fact that, you're making a movie that is a niche market that pleases a certain group of people, and you're going to take that movie and turn it into something that it's not? Why would you do that? Therein lies the success of both the Avengers and the Dark Knight, is that they both understand the characters, they understand the property, they understand what the fans want, and they delivered it to them without compromising the source material. And what I'm saying for this, for all the petty bickering back and forth between DC fans and Marvel fans, let it go, because what this means is that if Hollywood studios can look at these movies as prime examples of this and say, you know what, we really need to start paying attention to the fans, then we're going to get good comic book movies. We're going to get a Captain Marvel movie. We're going to get a Wonder Woman movie. We're going to get a Green Lantern movie, a good Green Lantern movie. We're going to get a Flash movie. We're going to get these movies if we can stop the infighting and tell people that, hey, these movies work. Thankfully, the Avengers made buku bucks in the box office. I'm hoping The Dark Knight Rises does the same, just so we can prove that if Hollywood comes out with a good product, we will support it, okay? This isn't a matter of us turning our backs on Hollywood to go to the internet. No, this is all about quality, and this is what everyone has been saying since day one. This has always been about quality. No one's going to spend their money on anything that they're not sure about or that they're kind of on the fence about. They're going to spend their money on something that looks good, something that they trust, something that they know is going to be awesome. So for anybody who's, saying, oh, I'm sick of the Dark Knight Rises hype, I'm sick of the hype, understand something. These movies deserve it, considering the fact that we've had jack squat in terms of good comic book movies for a while now. With the exception of the Avengers and, the movies leading up to that, we've had jack diddly squat. And these movies deserve the hype they're getting because for once, Hollywood is actually showing that, yes, we are listening to you, we're going to give you what you want. And I think that's great. Regardless of whether it's Marvel or DC. Granted, I am a little miffed that it isn't DC, but I've given up on DC a long time ago. So, that'll do it for me. Leave your comments below, let me know what you think. And as always, I will see you guys later. Peace.